All right, it's 7:15. We will get public session rolling. I ask that if anyone in the audience would like to speak, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. There's one person signed up, Mark Slozak.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to take a few moments to use my It's required that I do an annual written report, but I feel that it's important also to come and just spend a few moments with you and try to highlight the things that I do over the course of the year. So my purpose tonight is twofold. It's an opportunity to recap the activities that I participate in, and also just to share with you a few of the challenges and opportunities that the city faces in the future in terms of historical preservation. As city historian, I represent the city in most matters of local history and heritage preservation and things of those sort. So I really try to get involved with the local historical groups, the local preservation groups. I'm a member of the board of directors of the Heritage Foundation, also an active member of the Oswego County Historical Society, the H.L. White Maritime Museum, Friends of Fort Ontario, and Safe Haven. And I would say to you that these groups really represent the core of volunteers, and it's a large group of volunteers who are very dedicated to preserving and promoting our rich history and culture. And the more that we can use these groups as we try to revitalize the city and emphasize our heritage and history, they're there and they're more than willing to volunteer and do lots for us. So I maintain an active membership in all of these organizations and try to collaborate with them on a variety of matters and issues. Also try to work with people regionally. There are two groups in the county. The county, Oswego County Municipal Historians, and also another group that the Office of Tourism, County Office of Tourism runs. That group meets 4 times a year, and the Municipal Historians group meets probably 8 months of the year, once a month. We again try to help each other out. We try to share events and collaborate in a lot of different matters. I'm also a member of the Tri-County Historical Group, which is 3 counties make this up. We meet annually, and again, we also communicate and collaborate. The 3 counties are Oswego County, Jefferson County, and Lewis County. And so we meet once a year and move from county to county each year and try to share on that level. I'm a member of the New York State Association of Public Historians, and I attend their conference annually. I meet with the state historian at least once or twice a year, and I want to let you know that over the last 3 years I've worked to become a registered historian, and it takes 3 years to do that. So I did complete that this year, and now I'm a certified registered historian. And I try to continue to work on my professional development things so that I continue to improve as a historian. Some of the activities I engage in are research, writing, presenting, correspond with a lot of people. For example, this afternoon as I was getting ready to leave for the meeting, I got an email from a professor at Franklin and Marshall requesting a article from the Oswego County Historical Journals that are hard to get. I do have a set of them, and I will make a copy and pass it on to the professor. One of the big things that I've been working on over the last year in conjunction with the committee is planning the commemoration of the anniversary of World War I. And we have been working with various veterans groups. We're working with cemeteries to do some commemorating activities on Memorial Day and Armistice Day. Also trying to spruce up our parks with the monuments that are in the parks, and we're trying to locate all of the people who were veterans of World War I and kind of get a brief history of their activities during the war. Another project that has drawn a lot of my time recently, I've been working with Bergman Associates, providing them with pictures of different buildings in the city, different areas of the city that they're doing environmental studies on. So I'm giving them pictures of the old buildings, of what it looked like before, and I'm also trying to provide them with some historical narratives. As far as challenges and opportunities, we have all of these preservation groups. We need to coordinate with them. We need to really promote our heritage, document and preserve the things that we have, and work on emphasizing the historical significance of all the things, all the assets we have in the community. We really need to be thinking about that as we work on our revitalization projects. Saving significant historical structures is something that is extremely important. It's very costly, and if we could work with private individuals to save these, repurpose them, get them back on the tax rolls, and keep the nice stock of older structures that are architectural gems, keep them up and keep them going, that would be something that is really going to face us in the next few years as a serious challenge. In closing, I guess I'm beating the same drum all the time. The council should really consider adapting, or at least looking at certified local government codes. It would make getting federal and state grants much easier. It would also help in trying to preserve these buildings, particularly the ones that are on the National Registry. So I will close at this point, and if you have any questions or comments, I would entertain them at this time. Thank you.
I was just going to say ditto.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
His Honor the Mayor.
Here.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMasi.
Here.
Councilor Hill.
Here.
Councilor Wilmot.
Here.
Councilor Gosick.
Here.
Councilor Tesfario.
Here.
Councilor Cordino.
He's excused. There's nothing under the mayor's report. Any councilors have anything to add before we begin? Seeing none, will clerk please call resolution number 57?
Approve minutes common council meeting held February 12th, 2018.
Councilor Hill, Councilor Tesorerio. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Tesorerio.
Yes.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMassey.
Yes.
Councilor Hill.
Yes.
Councilor Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 58.
Approve use of public space, Lisa Isaac, owner of property located at 180 East Utica Street for an existing encroachment.
Councilor DeMassey, Councilor Gozen. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Tesorerio.
Yes.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMassey.
Yes.
Councilor Hill.
Yes.
Councilor Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 59.
Approve use of public space, Julie Chetney, on behalf of the County Autism Task Force in order to host the Outrun Autism 5K event to be held Saturday, April 7th, 2018.
Councilor Tesorerio, Councilor Gozick. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Tesorerio.
Yes.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMassey.
Yes.
Councilor Hill.
Yes.
Councilor Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 60.
Approve use of city property, Oswego Lions Club, in order to host the annual River's Edge Craft Show to be held Sunday, June 10th, 2018.
Councilor McBrearty, Councilor Hill. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Tesorerio.
Yes.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMassey.
Yes.
Councilor Hill.
Yes.
Councilor Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 61.
Approve use of the East Side Fire Station for a blood drive to be held March 26, 2018.
Councilor Tesorerio, Councilor DeMassey. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Tesorerio.
Yes.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMassey.
Yes.
Councilor Hill.
Yes.
Councilor Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 62.
Express support of the elevation of Fort Ontario Military Complex to national monument status.
Councilor DeMassey, Councilor Hill. Any comments? Councilor Hill.
As the president of Safe Haven, I just want to express my gratitude to the council for allowing this resolution to go forward. And, Mayor, I appreciate the support. We are as close as we've been to getting the Fort Ontario Study Act passed, and I think getting the support of all of the affected local governments will help us to go and take that to completion. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Tesorerio.
Yes.
Councilor McBrady. Councilor DeMassey.
Yes.
Councilor Hill.
Yes.
Councilor Wilmot.
Yes.
Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 63.
Authorize public hearing regarding proposed local law number 1 of the year 2018, a local law amending Chapter 211, Streets and Sidewalks.
Councilor Hill, Councilor DeMassey. This is to simply authorize the public hearing to be set in 2 weeks, where we will vote on the law, so I'll try to keep this explanation brief. This is the streets and sidewalks, so this focuses on shoveling sidewalks. This winter, which is really the first winter, at least since I've been mayor, where we've had some significant snow events where there's been a serious accumulation of snow on the sidewalks, which has presented an obvious problem for children walking to school and the elderly and disabled as they try to move about our community, which is really the first time this winter that we noticed there was a real problem and a delay in getting property owners to clean their sidewalks after a storm. So what this law does is we simply move the time from 7 p.m. After snowfall ends to 7 a.m. And what that does is if snow is falling, let's say 3 in the afternoon, and stops, you have until, by law, 7 a.m. the next day to clean the snow. If you aren't able to clean your sidewalk by then, and the code enforcer or complaint investigator is on patrol and documents the violation, you need to be notified, so you are mailed a letter, which generally takes 2 to 3 days to mail. Once you get that letter, you have 24 hours after you get the letter. So my point is a few days have passed by the time you get to the letter and you're notified that your property is out of compliance, and you still have another 24 hours to be brought into compliance. And the point why I explain that is because there's obviously a concern that the rule is too strict or it's too demanding for the owner-occupied home with the elderly residents who, it may take them a little longer to get out there and shovel as quickly as this law demands. However, the amount of time is the same. We're just moving the time from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And my point is the code every chapter of the city code applies to all property in the city of Oswego the same. And there's a reason why, if you go to the code reports that are published occasionally on my Facebook page, but are published every month on the city website, that the same names, the same properties are documented and cited in the document every month. And it's because typically the owner-occupied who may be a bit behind in responding to the law, or cleaning their sidewalk, or mowing their lawn, or taking care of their house, usually they get to it, right? The intent is to go after the properties that are consistently out of compliance, storm after storm, day after day. They repeatedly receive notifications and letters, and the repeat offenders. And that's who we want to go after, and we will save a lot of time and resources on the city side by trying a little harder and having a law a little stronger to bring those properties into compliance. At the same time, once we are effective in doing that, our children will be able to walk to school in in conditions that are much safer, and our elderly and disabled will be actually able to use the sidewalks, which they are for. This law, in addition to changing the time from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., we also implement a fine. So right now, if you let the amount of time pass without rectifying the situation, the city DPW either does the work, or we sub out the work to a contractor who will clean the sidewalk, or in the case of the next law, mow the lawn or clean up the property. And there is a surcharge that usually is taxed onto the tax bill of the property, which is based on the value of work. That stays the same. However, we also implement a fine that increases exponentially for every violation you have over a period of time. In addition to that, typically the next step is if the city prosecutes these offenses, which is rare because they're what I call nuisance violations, and if we spent the time and resources and energy to prosecute every nuisance violation, we wouldn't have any time to do anything else. However, if it does get to that point, right now the maximum fine the judge can administer is $100. This law increases that fine potentially to $500. And what that really does is the property owner typically owns multiple properties and is consistently a problematic or negligent property owner. What this does is, if we take all these steps, we give them the notice, and they get fined, and they get fined more than 3 times, and it still isn't getting their attention. At that point, we begin the prosecution, actually taking them to court. It just increases the fine that the judge can use if we even get to that point, which hopefully the intent of this law is to make these enforcement efforts more proactive than reactive, which they're reactive now. So if it's proactive, hopefully it'll snap these property owners who are always out of compliance into compliance, and we won't have to worry about prosecuting. However, if we do prosecute, I've instructed earlier this year the Code Enforcement Department and the City Attorney's Office to make these sort of prosecutions a priority. So when it does reach this point, we expedite that and get it to court as quickly as possible. I think that's about it in a nutshell. I'll probably elaborate more in 2 weeks, the night of the vote. But just That's it. Any counselors have any comments? Counselor DeMassey.
I think it's absolutely necessary. It's ridiculous when you see how many times that they're going out there and the same people over and over again. It's horrible to see the kids trying to walk to school and everything else. And you've given them more than enough time if there's an emergency situation for elderly. So I think it's fantastic.
Counselor Gozick.
Yeah, I was torn on this. I got to be honest. Over the last week, I received a couple calls, and they were negative calls, but one in particular from a man who couldn't be here tonight, one of my constituents, John Enders, and he's in his 70s. His wife was ill, and he was concerned because the perception he had, he'd read about it in the paper, was that it was going to put a lot more stress on him being elderly. And I understand there's single mothers or single fathers like myself, and I think ultimately, when we look at the issue here, I'm torn over it because the safety issue is important to me. And Kingsford Park School, we've got a lot of problems. I know the mayor's fielded many calls and emails and pictures sent, and so have I. Usually carbon copy us, so we both get them. And this is a big concern for me. But as I talked to Mr. Enders, this is why I didn't bring it up before, because I was kind of on the fence about it, and I think that ultimately, I support the mayor's efforts. And I applaud the code enforcement department. Obviously, I was on the council and voted to resurrect and reconstitute the code enforcement office, and everybody's seen tangible results here in the city as far as quality of life is concerned, and hopefully rising property values and home values in our neighborhoods as we've seen the crackdowns they've carried out, and I think that they've done a lot of great things for the city up to this point. But the calls I received, the big issue, I guess, was they felt, like Mr. Enders felt, that we could enforce the existing laws on the book without having the added stress to elderly people, maybe single mothers. Like there's a lady who lives across the street from my parents. She has 2 kids. It's real hard to shovel. She has to go to work in the morning. I do the same thing. I mean, I have days off once in a while, but it's difficult. I felt that a lot of times when we're up here, it's easy to lose sight of what we're doing up here. And we look at the issues like, well, the city, what's most important for the whole city as a whole? What's most important for my ward? If we're talking about, say, winter parking, for instance, we can battle about those things. But oftentimes we lose sight of one thing. We're really here to represent the residents in our ward, the citizens, if you want, in this case, emphasize the taxpayers that are paying some of the highest taxes in New York State, local, the city, the county, state. And a lot of people are barely able to get by here, and I understand Mr. Enders' concerns. I told him tonight that I would come up here and express his views, and also respectfully, I've decided that I'm going to vote in opposition to this, but I hope my reasons are clear, and at the same time, I can't emphasize enough that I support the public safety issue, and I think that this needs to be the top priority for when we're going out for code enforcement, because everybody knows it's complaints driven. And it's ironic because you'll see people, they get a call in the corner and they'll come, but the other 3 corners aren't shoveled yet, or the bridge isn't plowed yet, or they're even right in coming into City Hall a couple of days I came in when it was snowing. And obviously, you can only do so much in a place like Oswego, but I felt that under the circumstances here that Mr. Enders and the other constituents I heard from that had reservations, I thought they were legitimate. And I thought, and they asked me to come here tonight to represent their interests and their concerns. The big thing was the physical stress it puts on them and potentially the financial. But so I just wanted to put that out there tonight and let you know that I was going to vote in opposition to this, and that's basically the reasons why.
Counselor, any other comments? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorio.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady.
Yes.
Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
No.
Resolution passes 5-1-0.
Clerk, please call resolution number 63.
Authorize public hearing regarding proposed local law number 2 of the year 2018, a local law amending Chapter 249, vacant and occupied property maintenance.
Counselor Hill, Counselor Tesoreria. This is really the same intent of the last local law, only this chapter applies to vacant and occupied properties, more of the nuisance violations that I talked about indoor furniture on an exterior front porch, junk in the front yard or on the front porch, garbage that's visible from the street and exposed all over the yard, overflowing the cans when it's not garbage day, tall grass, issues, more nuisance violations like that. The fine structure that we applied, or hopefully will be applied in the last local law is the same. And again, the intent of this, we're not talking about a clear walkway for children and elderly and disabled, but this is more in the purview of neighborhood revitalization, more of a proactive approach rather than reactive. My position now is as visitors or residents drive down city streets and they see a property with junk in the front yard or trash that's visible from the street or tall grass, the damage has already been done. And every time that happens, it detracts from the quality of life of neighbors and the value of nearby properties, and it hurts confidence that those property owners may have to invest in their property when a property next door is consistently negligent, the property owner, or consistently out of compliance, and the property owner is consistently negligent. So I'd like to get in front of that, and I believe by implementing this fine structure, hopefully it gets the attention of property owners who have trouble following the law. Again, I'll point that a lot of these complaints or violations are complaint-driven, usually by surrounding neighbors. And again, if you look on the code reports that we publish, seems to be the same complaints or same properties that are in violation month after month for the same issues. So we need to be more proactive and spend less time and energy on just doing the same process over and over again to the same people. Hopefully this fine structure will do. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Yes. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0-1.
Will clerk please call resolution number 65?
Approve New York State Department of Transportation's proposed New York State Route 104 construction and reconstruction improvement project.
Councilor Hill, Councilor Tesorario. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Yes. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0-1.
Clerk, please call resolution number 66.
Approve dockage fees at Wrights Landing and the International Marina to include half-season rates.
Councilor Gosick, Councilor Tomasky. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0-1.
Clerk, please call resolution number 68.
67.
67? 67.
Authorize mayor to execute agreements with the Oswego City County Youth Bureau for the 2018 operation of the youth center and skateboard park.
Councilor McBrady, Councilor Gosick. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Yes. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0-1.
Clerk, please call resolution number 68.
Authorize mayor to sign amendment number 1 with GHD Consulting Engineers, LLC to include construction administration services for the combined sewer separation project Phase 2, second 25%.
Councilor Tesorario, Councilor McBrady. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Yes. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0-1.
Will clerk please call resolution number 69?
Authorize mayor to execute a renewal agreement with GHD Consulting Engineers for quarterly reporting required by the consent decree.
Councilor Tesorario, Councilor Hill. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Tesorario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Yes. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0-1.
Clerk, please call resolution number 70.
Approve bid submitted by W.D. Malone Trucking and Excavating Incorporated for the rehabilitation of the sanitary sewers as part of the combined sanitary sewer project Phase 2, second to 25%.
Councilor Tesorario, Councilor DeMassey.
Counselor Testrario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 71.
Approve budget amendment to Parks and Code Enforcement Departments.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Hill. This resolution funds another code enforcer in the Code Enforcement Office, and also essentially doubles the youth summer employment program. Usually we have 5 or 6 younger folks who are employed in the summer youth program. This extra $50,000 doubles that funding and gives us 5 to 6 more for about 6 months. And the intent is to help us with projects similar to what the program accomplished last year, which was painting the railing along the Riverwalk, sprucing up the West Linear Riverwalk in the park. So doubling this program in size will help do more projects like that, but also will allow the DPW to accomplish some of the bigger projects they're going to have this summer, like constructing the dog park, doing some improvements to the Harbor Trail, some other improvements to playgrounds, the Kingsford Park playground installation, and some other larger projects that we're going to have to do. DRI and the Water Street enhancements as well, or Complete Street and Water Street enhancements as well. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, will clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Testrario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 72.
Approve transfer of funds from the general fund contingent account to the city clerk's materials and supplies account.
Councilor Gozick, Councilor DeMassey. Any comments? Councilor Gozick.
I just had one. I just wanted the new counselors here, and probably even the mayor himself maybe has never delved into this, but it's important. I'm sure historian Slozik's been there and checked out some of these records, but years ago, before I started teaching them, I actually worked on a local government record management improvement fund grant that, believe it or not, in, when was it, late 90s, they had never identified, looked at our city records from the engineer's office, the early surveyors. We're talking like the beginning of Oswego, before the city, like early 1800s. Go back like Matthew McNair, like the first settlers here, like along with like Alvin Bronson, our first village president. There's some amazing records and gems if you've never had a chance to peruse through the archives on maps that date back to the origin of Oswego, the first maps laying out the village of Oswego long before the city. Really interesting stuff, letters, documents from some of the founding fathers and later important politicians. So I'm glad I hope the council will all support this, because some of these records really need to be preserved. And when I did this grant years ago, they hadn't identified yet if they were archival or functional. You may think, well, sewers and paving the streets aren't that interesting. It is interesting to look back and see, in some of these old sewer systems and things, it is important to know functionally where they are when they're digging up, but other things, just interesting to look and see how the city developed, how our infrastructure developed over time, and things we take for granted today. But if you haven't had a chance to look at the records or get a tour through there, it's really interesting to see the documents, the maps, and some of the gems we have right in the clerk's office as well. So I hope everyone will support this. I think it's really important we do preserve these early records of our city's history.
Any other comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testrario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 73.
Approve attendance at the New York State Building Officials Conference to be held April 10th through 12th, 2018 in Liverpool, New York. Request of Nathan Emmons, Director of Rental Assistance.
Councilor Testrario, Councilor Hill. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testrario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 74.
Approve attendance at the 2018 New York State Tactical Team Leadership Forum to be held March 7th through 9th, 2018 in Saratoga Springs, New York. Request of Tori L. Decare, Police Chief.
Councilor DeMassey, Councilor Testrario. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testrario.
Yes.
Counselor McBrady. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 75.
Approve attendance at the Rescue Task Force for Law Enforcement course to be held March 13th through 14th, 2018, in Oriskany, New York. Request of Tori L. Care, Police Chief.
Counselor McBurney, Counselor Hill. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testorio.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 76.
Approve attendance at the 2018 New York State Department of Justice Services Special Weapons and Tactics Operator course to be held on various dates in March and April 2018 in Oriskany, New York. Request of Tori L. Care, Police Chief.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Tesfario. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testorio.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Clerk, please call resolution number 77.
Approve attendance at the New York State Tactical Officers Association Conference to be held April 24th through 26th, 2018 in Verona, New York. Request of Tori L. Care, Police Chief.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Hill. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testorio.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Counselor DeMassey.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Any unfinished business to come before the council? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor Tesorario, Counselor DeMassey. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Testorio.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Counselor DeMassey. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Wilmot.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Resolution passes 601.
Meeting is adjourned.